Okay, I DM'd you the link. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself on Discord, and let me know when you have it up and ready, and I will start doing everything. Awesome. Okay. So, like I said, positioning is going to be the key thing here that I want to talk about, and I'll go throughout, like, we know where you could position better and, you know, why the positioning could be bad or, you know, hurtful to yourself or your team. And I know, you know, you're a support player for the team, but a lot of these things can be carried over to the supports, especially Ana, which would be really nice. Just kind of positioning wise. And like I said, you know, if you have any questions, just say it out loud and I will start talking about wherever your question is. First thing, this is, I think, a comp game, so like a little bit weird. You might not always be with your team and whatever else. I think the big thing here is if you're playing like any sort of hit scan or, you know, the Bastion here, or even like a lot of the other DPS characters, you definitely want to be high ground. And what I mean by the high ground is like going over to the left here from the spawn and also going over to the right here into that little mini room and just playing one of those areas. You know, when you go down those stairs right here in front of you like you end up doing, it just kind of leaves yourself really vulnerable. Makes it hard for D.Va, or easy for D.Va to push you. She doesn't even necessarily have to use boosters. Hanzo, you know, is going to have a good angle on you. Echo gets above you real easy, and Ana can throw a nade down on you real easy too. So positioning to that top left or the top right where that mini room is. I'll go into third person here in a second and show them. But yeah, so like positioning up here, you know, getting up this way, that would be a really good spot to be. And then, like I said, you know, over at that mini room, both would be areas where like you benefit a lot as any sort of hit scan or Bastion going these ways. Here, you know, nothing going wrong here. This fight's just ending. Your team was able to win that fight. All really good. So a lot of times on DPS, you want to be making sure you're not doing nothing. It's probably the role that it's most important to make sure you're doing something at all times. And again, you know, comp games, so you can't decide it necessarily for your team, but make sure you're not the one pushing cart here. If you're like a tracer or something mobile, you know, like that could be a time where it's okay to push the cart because your team, you know, wants to take space and you can get there quickly. But as a not very mobile character like Bastion, you definitely want to be looking to set up at the next part. You could be poking, you could be, you know, trying to build ult charge, but you want to look as a DPS to where do I want to be next? Where is it going to be most advantageous for me to be in this next fight? And I think the two areas where it would be most advantageous, and it'll give you like a lot of cover, or there could be three areas. You could play here at this corner, right? Wait for the bot to get there, and you have a really good corner to shoot from. You know, you're going to be able to see that right side, but you're not going to be able to get hit from that high ground, right? So you're still taking cover, but you're a little more far forward. Another one you could play in this mini room, which is a really good spot. Your team should be able to support you a little bit from here. You know, if they can't, you do have a mini, you do have your turret mode that gives you some armor, and you could always back out the window. And that's just a really good spot to play in general on offense and defense. And then the other one, you know, you could play right side here. You have the mini, you could play at this room right here. You have a lot of cover there. And then you also have the option to, you know, flank right here and take this angle as well. Deny that Hanzo from taking any more forward space. But yeah, I just think you don't necessarily want to be on cart here because you're not getting set up for the next fight. Like, that should be your Lucio's job. Again, comp game, so like I get it. Makes sense. Cooldown wise, so I think you used her at quite a lot of good times, but I did notice a couple times, and this was probably the biggest one. You want to sync your turret mode with their push. So like, I don't know like what comms have been like for you in like when you're playing comp or when you're playing you know, in a team. A lot of times people will often say, hey, like let's wait out turret mode for Bastion, right? So you want to try to use turret mode when they're committed, right? So like if the diva uses booster, she's used a lot of her, you know, matrix. Hanzo has used jump and he's like out of position. You know, you want to use it when like they're in a place where you can punish them, right? Because if they're around this corner like this, like you can't do too much unless the diva just stands here and takes it. Now, the one little bit of advantage you get out of doing this, right, is you do get some more forward pressure with the cart, which is great. But because the cart's not near this checkpoint, you do lose a lot of value on a turret like this. You want to make sure that they're committed, or, you know, if at the very least you're getting that forward pressure, it's going to guarantee you, like, getting that forward progress. This is really good focus on the Hanzo. You notice he was out of position. That was really great. Love to see that. Similar thing here. You know, like I said, you don't want to be the one on cart, and that's part of the reason why too. Not as big of a reason, but you don't want to be like in a position where they can take advantage of you. You know. So, fast forward through this a little bit. Okay, so that was a good turret. Really took advantage of the Moira. You do kill the Hanzo here too with a grenade. Also beautiful. Love to see that. You try going for that echo. Here is another place, like, it becomes a little awkward to fight this high ground, no matter what DPS you're on. Unless you're like a Genji or maybe like an Echo, it becomes awkward to fight that high ground, right? I noticed, like, as throughout the map, like, it kind of felt that way for you a little bit. It looked like you were kind of like feeling a little awkward because, you know, you have a hit scan or like an Echo spraying down at you, and it's just hard to hit them and everything. You could play in the mini room here, and then that forces them to come out, right? Like, they have to contest the point at some point, and you know, if they don't, like, you guys get free pressure forward. You could also try to play to the far left. I play quite a bit around here, like, depending on the DPS I'm playing, usually on the more mobile ones, but like I think you could get away with it on Bastion as well. Like using this as cover, using this left side as cover as well, and you have that mini, right? You did a really good job of doing that later when you were on Ashe too. I think you could have got away with that on Bastion as well. Just it becomes a little bit awkward to fight here, you know. Echo almost gets that pick off onto you, right? Like, that could have been really bad. Like, you guys would have lost a lot of pressure. Good job focusing down that Echo. She's messed up her fly horribly. I thought this was really smart. So unfortunate your Lucio dies, but I think that this fight is still turnable, and Bastion ult's not great to begin with. You know, it's a 4v4 right now. Like, you guys could really secure a lot of pressure here. I know the ult doesn't give anything, but like, this is really well-timed ult. I like that. Unfortunate, the sleep is just not much you can do about that. She was above you, slept you on the way out. It's unfortunate. But yeah, I like the timing of the ult. Unfortunate, didn't get more value, but that was a really well timed ult. Same thing here. So like I said before, even more so with like something like an Ashe Soldier, and I know you play like Cassidy a little bit later too. Like the high ground is going to be even more important for them than it is for Bastion, right? So like, going to the top left here could be really good. Like, I know your Sojourn's up there, so maybe you don't want to play exactly there right now. But I think at the worst case scenario, like, you want to get into this bridge. Like, this bridge is the most underutilized thing, I think, in the game, honestly. Like, people don't use this thing enough. Like, I'll notice in comp games and like in my scrims, like in scrims that I've watched, like with Flames as old teams and stuff, like, this bridge is so impactful. Like, you have the ability to retreat so easily. You can see the entirety of this first point besides like below you. So definitely, like, try to play there if you don't have the ability to play up here because like your other hit scan's up there or something. Oops, got to the wrong person there. You want Orisa to like have to use those cooldowns to get to you, and like being this close to her, like it's just really easy for her to get to you, and it makes you use Coach Gun a lot early just to get away from like the pressure like that. Good kill onto the Hanzo. I think you probably should have tried to retreat there up the stairs, but good kill onto the Hanzo. Nice dynamite on Echo. I think she dies to that if I remember correctly also. There's some point in the game on when you guys are pushing forward, you have this dirty shot onto that Ana. It was really nice. One minor thing with Ashe in general, so like this is more of a mechanic thing. So I can show you after if you want. Just let me know after if you do. There's this mechanic that a lot of people use. So you like are scoped in for a shot, and if you hit someone with a headshot, or even if it's not a headshot, you're scoped in and then you quickly unaim and quickly refire again, just like using the unscoped primary fire. Doing that on any squishy it's a kill. So that's something that could really be used a lot. I don't know exactly how easy it is. Like I play a lot of Ashe, so like it's just kind of like I'm used to it thing. I don't know how easy it'll be get into your play if you really do want to play a lot of Ashe, but it's a really useful mechanic. Like I said, just let me know after if you do want to see that. I think this is the spot where you take this really good angle. You hit a nice shot on Ana. This is really good. Yeah. Okay, I'll show you after. Yeah, it's a really good mechanic. It's really nice. It helps a lot. Yeah, I like this positioning. This is nice. You have your Coach Gun if they do push into you. You have the mini. Like this is awesome. And again, like really nice shots onto the Ana there. That was beautiful. Now one thing. So like I said, that positioning was great. One thing I noticed. And it's hard to do, but it's definitely doable. When you're up a person like this, and like the pressure is in your favor, like you guys are winning this, you do want to try to get up to that high ground right above you as soon as you can. It can be a little bit dangerous, but if you're able to play in here, like your team is really hard to kill. If you guys get the bot pushed a little further forward, and like you have that positioning, your team is pushing the bot, like in this area, the other team's not going to be able to kill you unless they they switch Widow, kill you like that way, or Hanzo hits the lucky shot. Like it's going to be really hard to kill you from this room. So think about that, like when you do get the bot pushed forward as far as yours is right now, and a little bit further. It'll be a really useful thing. See, like your mortar died, so like she just kind of faded in. That's on her. But I think if you're up there right now, you're probably gonna be able to put a little more pressure on their Orisa, on their Moira who just finished Coalescence, and obviously you'd be with the Echo too. A shot, forced copy. That was good. Your fed. Your again, it's a comp game, so like I get it's going to be hard. Your Rom just kind of, he fed a couple times in that scenario there. I think he does it on the next time you guys get up there too. He uses it all and just walks in and dies instead of blocking. It's unfortunate. Nice dynamite. Hope to get that torp kill. This is good, Bob. So, like Bob is someone you want to always put like in between you and the enemies, right? So like also nice shot on, but I really like that Bob. It didn't seem to get a ton of value, but it completely forced them back. It helped you get the kill onto the Ana, and I forget who else it was. But yeah, that was a good Bob. You may not have needed it there, but I think it was good to Bob there. It really completely changed the momentum going back in your way. I liked it. Good dynamite. I think when you force him back like that, like that's a time where it would be a good idea to conk up there. And when I say conk, like use the Coach Gun. It's just that a habit thing. Usually coach going to get up there. He's going to not be able to push you. You know, he's used his overload. Like, it's going to be hard. And ideally, you know, you don't want to be with Tracer, but like your team should be able to give you a little bit of help up there. I think that would be a good idea to be up there. Now, you do get this kill on Tracer eventually, and if I remember correctly, it was a really nice shot on her. But try to do your best to not focus on the Tracer so hard. Getting tunnel vision on a Tracer, if you don't kill her right away, is really good for her. It adds a lot of value, because since Tracer doesn't do a lot of damage, even if she isn't getting kills, the more people that are looking at her, the less pressure is on her team, and that's really, really valuable for her. And there's a good like 10 to 15-ish seconds here, I think, where you're looking at her for like the majority of the time. And again, you do eventually kill her, but it gets a lot of value for her team because she's wasting your time. And she's wasting yours and Moira's time. Yeah, it was a nice shot. Definitely look to kill that turret first. You're going to be the easiest person to kill that turret there. Your Lucio might have died, or might not have died if that turret dies right away. He kind of fed too, but this is where your ROM feeds. Almost got that kill on Moira. Yeah, and that's the fight. Team fight a little bit. But yeah, make sure you're looking for that turret as soon as you can, especially if you're like the long-range hit scan or like a Hanzo or something. It's going to be your job above everyone else's. Being down some people here, coming back to spawn, definitely be careful pushing this. You know, Orisa does have ult, so she could definitely get on to you, but like a combination of Discord plus Orisa just walking on you would be really, really dangerous. Forces you to use that concussion. I think if you just kind of look to play in the mini above you on the high ground before this, and you know your team is regrouping and stuff, that's probably the most advantageous place to be. I don't mind this. I think that the high ground's probably the more traditional place, but your soldiers up there, so I like this. This is completely fun. The one thing you do have to think about this is, though, you're in range of, you know, what's it called, Tracer with like 2 blinks. You're in range of the Orisa with just a spin walking at you. So you do have to think that it's probably best to play a little bit closer to the mini that's behind you, where you were originally. That's interesting. So just play like this corner maybe, so like she can't just walk on you real easy, because there's a moment here where she does end up walking on you and you can't concuss her away because she's gold. But if she does push you over here, you have the time to, you know, get away, get to the mini, and you're going to be doing a little bit less damage with the fall off. But you know, if your team is able to push forward, that's when you want to start walking up instead of just walking here. As you do, like, give Soldier and Moira time on the flank before you start pushing forward, if you know what I mean. Really good shot on the Tracer. Bob's really well timed. This is a very turnable fight. I know, like, it's close, but this is a very turnable fight. I think it was good that you used Bob there. They had already used a bunch of ults too. Now, at this point, you're in Orisa's range. You haven't played at that corner, right? So now you have to think about, how am I going to kill this Orisa? Because she has the ability to just completely outplay me with her cooldowns, right? And you're squishy. Even if she's like low health, she can still outplay you, right? So since you've sent Bob, you have to think, I need to keep Orisa in sightline of Bob. And so like how your first Bob was really good, because it was the enemy team in between you and Bob, and they had to choose one to fight. This one, you know, you put Bob in the back line in a really good spot, but because Orisa has this corner, she has the ability to just kite Bob and only focus you. So as stupid as this sounds now, because you played further forward, you have to play even further forward so Bob gets value. So she has to choose one. You probably die still, but Bob then gets the kill onto her. See, like how, like, she's now used her cooldowns, right? And like she's killable, but because Bob is now out of her line, or she's out of Bob's line of sight here, she doesn't die. So Ideally, you would want to stay where you were, conk up in the air, and you, again, like I said, you probably die, but maybe you don't. Like if she misses cooldown, she's getting shot by Bob. Your soldier maybe gets some shots on her too. It's a tricky thing. It sounds silly because I just told you to play further back before, but when you put yourself in that position, you have to then think about how your Bob's gonna help you, how your team's gonna help you. That's a big thing on support too. You know, you can think about like if you know, say you're getting pushed by a flanker, instead of running away, if you know you can't get to like a mega and you're not going to be able to self-sustain for sure as this flanker's pushing you, it's, even though you might be putting yourself more out of position, it's better to walk to your team if you know you won't be able to survive on your own than it is to, you know, back away and maybe take like a couple seconds away from her. Again, probably going to be your job to shoot the turret first here. Rom can't really do it, Moira can't. So like Lucio's really the only one that can help you. Or the soldier too, but he's kind of off on his own little thing, flanking. But yeah, solid stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and go into the thing real quick. Training. Any questions at all?
I'm the last one you'll ever cross.
I know that we're supposed to be high ground, and I had the same problem on it. I actually got into like an argument with Ace Scrim over this. So I struggle with playing high grounds. I can't land shots. Whenever I play like mid-low, I can land my shots a lot more effectively. So my biggest struggle sometimes is figuring out where that position myself, because like if I play Ana on like the high ground window in mid tower, like I'm not getting any value. But if I play like in the corner of the fire truck and like Bob and Beef, then I get like all my value. And I feel like I have that same problem with like defense.
Yeah. I'll unmute real quick just to talk to you.
easy work. Can't handle the heat. Stay out of my